All right. Hello, 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 everybody. My name is Rhonda Trufiyah, and I am so excited because I get to do like a Soul Dope Takeover situation. So I'm actually here with my friend Qamil, who's normally the one who's asking all the questions, getting all the juicy details. But since she's a woman that's got so many things going on, so many things coming up, so many hats that she wears. We thought it would be great if I got a chance to put her in the hot seat and ask her some questions. So sit back, relax, get your mug. I got my mug. This mug kind of is like my favorite and reminds me of Qamil. It says, I love the person I've become because I fought to become her. And so certainly on this journey of 10 years, is it 10 years?
2011, 12. This is year 12. This is
11
11.
years?
This is 11. This is 11.
Okay. So on this journey of 11 years, certainly you have had to fight to become all the things that you're becoming today. So we want to get into all of that. So I'm on this side of things, and I'm so excited to do that. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And we're going to try to stay focused because there's so many things to cover, so many wonderful things that you've already accomplished, and so many things that you are yet to accomplish. And you're constantly working, constantly reinventing yourself. And one of the things that I love about you and what you do is that you're not just doing it for you. It's always with the vision of helping other people, from your double dutch and brunch to your all of that kind of stuff, which we'll talk about the journey. But it seems like you always have community in mind, which makes the journey even more beautiful. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I get the privilege of interviewing. I call her power songstress Qamil. How you doing?
I'm good. It's weird being on this side.
Yeah.
After filming a whole season on that side. So
right. But I'm going to take good care of you. We got so much to talk about. So we're just going to jump in. It has been a journey for the world getting here to 2023 just from 2020. It's been a whole sentence of things that we've gone through. But there were things going on with you before 2020 ever started. So we'll spend some time talking about what you've been doing since then. But let's take it way back into time. When did you get started, and what prompted you to start this journey of becoming an artist?
My decision to be like, okay, I'm going to do this for real was 2011. I started songwriting way before that in college. When I was like 18, 19, I was writing songs and recording with my friends in dorm rooms, but I didn't want to do it for real yet. So it was until like 10 years after that, that I was like, I think I actually want to pursue music for real. But before that, I was working in banking. I worked in banking for 10 years, 12, somewhere, a long time, because I started at like 21 and was really like executive branch, nerd girl, crunching numbers, working in bankruptcy, working in foreclosure. And then I got laid off in about 2013. So 2011, I was like, okay, I want to do this. But at that point, I was still dabbling, doing open mics, singing at the craziest places around the city, like just kind of getting a feel for the scene and getting to know people here, because I didn't know anybody. I didn't come up like a lot of my peers as teenagers in different art programs here. Like I didn't do any of that as a teenager. So I kind of came in as an adult, like 29-ish, 30-ish, just getting started, where people are very much established here. But yeah, so 2011, I went to an open mic with a friend of mine. Shout out to comedian D Bell. He set me up. For him, because he was doing comedy. And then they were like, next up to the stage, singing Adele Rolling in the Deep. It's Qamil. Like, he had given them a song and everything for the band. And I'm like, I was like sick, like, oh my God, but I'm on a spot. So I got up there like a deer in headlights, but I sang the song. I didn't move. I didn't like nothing. Just gonna get through it. But people loved it. So I went home and was like, maybe I could like do this for real. So I will give him credit for that extra
for the extra push. So 2011 is when you're 29, 30-ish at the time, and you say to yourself, I'm going to do this.
be a
So what did this mean then? In 2011, did this mean, big entertainment conglomerate, or did this just mean I'm gonna sing?
it kind of all happened. I have like my brain snowball. So it'll start off as just this, like, okay, I'm ready to be a singer. I think I want to do an event. I think I'm going to start a company and do the event company. And I call my sister and I'm like, I'm gonna start an entertainment company. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, I'm gonna book this venue and I'm gonna book some artists. She's like, okay. I'm gonna name it Soul Dope. And she's like, well, what is that? And I'm like, it's like Bad Boy meets Motown.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, all right. So that's exactly what I did. I knew immediately that not only did I want to sing, I wanted to create a table and I wanted to be able to book myself and to book other artists. And I've been doing that ever since.
Okay. So since 2011, you've been doing that. And so talk to me about the journey of that. Like, what did that look like in the early stages? Motown meets Bad Boy.
Yeah.
What was it like? Because one of the things that I notice about people who make it, who do this, is that it's usually like a community. This famous person grew up with that famous person, and they all kind of came up in it together, and everybody found their own path. And so when you go back and you look at the story, there's this sense of family and this energy that kind of just felt a certain way where you knew, like, okay.
Yeah.
So what was that feel in the beginning? What was it like? Talk to me about some of the artists, that your early artists, and what it felt like to form this like Soul Dope family.
When I was starting, I really didn't know anybody. I mean, other than like some of the gospel artists in the city, because my sister was in a gospel group, One Accord at the time. So I knew like these young people that are doing the music. So I booked some of them for the first show. And at first, I'll go to the first event. I was like, I kind of wanted to be a charity event, but I kind of wanted to be R&B. But okay, I have a comedian that can host it. Okay, when this person this, then it could turn into like kind of a variety show of things where there's poetry, there's rap, there's that was way before I was like zeroed in on specifically R&B. So I just kind of tapped in to people who were interested in what I was doing. Like I would make a post like, okay, I'm going to do this now. And people came to me. I've never had to like go like pulling and like grabbing and convincing people. It's like from the very beginning, it was like, I'm doing this thing. It's a little different. You want to be here, then come on. So the community started building itself from there, really. So it would be like someone I used to go to high school with, like, I'll come work the door. Someone that I worked with at the bank, like, do you need like gift bags, or I can come help do whatever. So I just really let the people that were already there in. And then in meeting artists, that just happened along the way because somebody knew this singer or that person, this poet. And I just was just always warm and welcoming, like, okay, you can do something. I got a space. Like, I have no money because that first event made no money. You didn't know what I was doing outside of I know how to put a show together. I was doing that in college. I was like chair of things and putting homecoming events together. Always been an event planner kind of mind. But yeah, the first event, I was like, yeah, we're going to do a charity event for Ronald McDonald House. Made no money at all. But it was packed and we had a good time. And a lot of those relationships that started there that I still have now, there are still artists that were performing then that I see out and about now that are doing amazing things. And I can say they were at the first Soul Dope event. You know, it's little baby artists out here. Yeah.
So, I definitely like understand that journey because it was kind of the same for me. And I always believe that when God has his hand on something, it's always going to be a struggle when you're building something worthwhile, but the things just kind of fall into place and people just kind of show up. I never really had to do a lot of heavy promotions and this and that. I mean, we let people know, but then it just kind of it kind of just happens. It kind of
Community
happens.
builds itself in a way. If
Yeah.
you create something that people are desiring to be a part of, and people are really looking for that, to be around people who like what they like and enjoy what they like and just be out and about. It just really did itself. And God, of course,
Of course, yeah.
He'll get you
So,
kind of who you're supposed to be in front of.
but even with that being said, and all of the things aligning, and this person knowing that person, and all the connections that are making, because I understand all of that.
Yeah.
There's still a lot that goes into doing what we do, being an artist in general.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, before we even got on here and began to talk, the commitment level that it takes to commit to being an artist every day.
Yeah.
Like every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like showing up for it, because I kind of liken it to the thing that you love that gives you life can break your heart a lot of times, the process of it, all of that.
People.
So
Yes.
the people, all of it. So what keeps you committed to the journey of becoming an artist every day, today, tomorrow, and building that way?
It's because I can't, and the many times that I'm like, okay, I think I'm good with this, I'll just do something else. The idea of doing something else makes me so deeply sad. Like, it makes me sick to my stomach, and I can't imagine myself like going back to banking or whatever, which was cool, it paid the bills, but I was miserable. So it's kind of like almost like a loved one. The idea of not being an artist and losing that makes me feel grief deeply. So even though 2 days ago I was like, I think this is going to be the last round for me. I'm 40, I'm 41 now. Like, I got a new baby. Like, this is a lot. It's different this time than before having a baby. Each kid, new dynamic in the household. Full meltdown. Like, but then when I sat and I thought about, well, what are you going to do if you're not doing this? What would you be passionate about that as like this? And it was like nothing. And I just pictured myself like being a soccer mom and being like 50 and being like, for me, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah. It's a beautiful journey for who it's for.
Yeah.
But when you really have something in your soul that you want to do, it's really hard to walk away from it. It reminds me of that Isley Brothers song Atlantis. Like, I'll always come back to you.
Even if you're like just, oh man, been drugged down, dragged out, done with it, grief, losing people. Like, I can't even formulate a sentence to make a song. I just can't. I don't think I can. I don't think I can. And then I do. And then somehow you just do. So that, not wanting to feel that sadness and that loss keeps me inspired. And I just love what I do. I love the community that I've built. It makes me excited to be like, oh, listen to this artist. Not only listen to them, I'm booking them and I'm going to pay them and you can come see them and then go follow them. Like, that's like,
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we talked about the community in terms of the person who's going to come and do your door, and this person's going to bring this, and I got the swag bags and all of that. And we understand that. And that is community, and artists and event curators can't do what they do without those people who jump in and really support us. So that part of our community is super, super vital and important. And I know that you appreciate your community in that sense, because you talk about it all the time. But let's shift a little bit to the community known as the audience. I know what it feels like.
Yeah.
I've gone through hell and high water, and everything seems to fall apart leading up to something beautiful that you get ready to do, right?
Yeah.
And you get up there in front of those people, and they're looking at you, and they're appreciating what you have to give.
Yeah.
Talk about what that feels like.
It is so there's the high of that as an artist, like, and they appreciate your art and they might be singing your songs, but it's a different feeling when you're the one who put the whole thing together, because it is a lot of work. Yes, you have community, but the community can't move until you move.
Exactly.
Like, nobody's just going to do the thing. You have to like move the chess pieces around. So it is a lot in the behind the scenes that people don't realize when they get to the seat. Everything that happened, the tears, the frustrating, the venue did this, the artists are on your nerves. The musicians don't want to
showing
rehearse
up
on
on
this
time.
day. And they said they want to rehearse, but now they don't. Like now the bass player can't make it. And you know, like there's so much stuff. So to finally get through all of it, the thing is happening. And I have learned along the way not to so much stress about the chaos that leads up to like I used to, because now I just be like, I mean,
it's always gonna happen.
the doors are gonna open, so whatever. Let's
Yeah.
like when I just did a 4-series R&B showcase over the spring summer last year, and the best part of it was the artists, of course, I knew they were going to do what they were going to do, but the response, the audience appreciating and thanking me for taking the time to put something nice together for them to come to of good quality, and like really selecting it and just watching them dancing in the audience and enjoying the artists and really getting into them, especially if it's artists that I knew they had never seen before. It's just so fulfilling. It just really feels like you're doing the Lord's work out here and making people have some joy and have a good safe space to be in where they can look good and feel good and make new connections and just enjoy the music and the art. So it is the best, like the absolute best feeling.
Yeah, it really is that. I remember a time where I was going through so much and money wasn't right, this wasn't that, because we got all that going on. And the people in our audience got all that going on.
Yeah.
And I was going through a bunch of stuff. And like 20 minutes before this concert that I had paid money for was getting ready to start, I decided I'm not going. And my friend's like, yes, you are, you going. And so I went, and I remember sitting in this room and watching Eric Roberson on stage. And I thought the feeling that I had of being able to partake in something like that after all the things that I'd been through was just indescribable. It's still like one of my favorite concerts that I've ever been to in my life. And so to be able to do that for somebody else, you know what I mean? Not just you singing your songs or doing your thing, but to be able to create an environment where you don't know what kind of things people are releasing while they're there. Just have a good time.
I've had someone in one of the showcases, she's been following me for years, being super supportive, and she had literally just lost her husband, and she just wanted to get out the house. So I'm like, you don't need, here's 2 tickets, like just come. If you can get there, you're good. And just being in a position to be able to do that for people, like, it's just priceless. It's beyond what we think we're doing. And I've been in the audience in a horrible place personally, and for that 2 hours or however, you can just tap into the beauty of what's going on. Or you might cry if something makes you cry or whatever. But we are able to give that to people, like you said, and that's very special. And it's very special you can keep doing it for over a decade, because woo.
Because it comes with stuff. So in 11 years, so there's so many things that we can talk about. So you've done the Soul Dope Sundays, which was like a open mic type.
Yeah, like open mic competition kind of thing. So we started that in 2013, 14. Ran for years at a couple different venues, like took a break and then new venue. But that was really, I would say, the real starting ground for Soul Dope, because with open mic, we've had, I can't even count how many artists over the years come through there doing all kinds of stuff. People would be doing monologues, like singing, rapping, poets, comedy, live art, like different DJs, all kinds of stuff. But people, it was a thing. Like every first Sunday, it's Soul Dope Sunday. People would drive to their cities and states to come to this thing, which was crazy to me. Crazy, but that really told me that people were looking. There's something there that they need.
They need it.
They need it. But friendships that were there. I have artists to this day. Like I got my start at Soul Dope Sunday. If it wasn't for you doing that, I probably wouldn't have never like really pursued the thing. But you gave us a space, you gave us friendships that were there, and whether they came to perform or just be there hanging out, it was just really, really dope. But yeah, Soul Dope Sunday ran for a long time. But I would say that was the like anchor event for Soul Dope.
All of it. Okay. So then you had the R&B Soul Case.
Yes.
Is that right?
That was the latest, the last I did. So many things in between.
Many things in between. I'm just trying to get the highlight. So we had Spades and Brunch.
Spades and Brunch was piggybacked off a double Dutch and Brunch was the thing that was neat. That wasn't what I was intending to do. I've done community events along the way. I've done like a march against gun violence, organized that in 2016. Helped with like other people in the city, like artists and things we did a benefit concert for Flint, sent a semi-truck of water to Flint. So I was very, very involved in that. But like, so kind of bouncing back and forth between community events, but still incorporating art. So we did that, like the march for the against gun violence, but it was also coupled with the festival. So we like a venue for like a whole day. People performed and spoke out, on their feelings on that. But yeah, so it was all of that in addition to Soul Dope Sunday and different showcases and showcases and oh gosh.
And then all that plus your individual gigs.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk like the actual me performing as me in addition to like creating spaces for everybody else. I don't even remember everything. We did like a Black Artist Solidarity Day where we like counted down artist videos. That was during the pandemic, and we were on the news. I don't even know how they heard about it, but the news called like, we heard you're doing this thing for Black artists. Like, it's Black art. It's wonderful. We have a whole day. It's just too much. I get like as it all comes back, I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. And that's why it's so important for us to be here having this conversation, because it's been all that. Then you had a web series. Am I right? Was there a web series?
Like, the Corner video show.
Yes.
Are you talking about that or am I writing? We're not at writing yet. Corner video show.
Yeah.
The video show.
That was a series, right?
Yeah, the video show came off of the Black Artist Solidarity Day thing, where that was like, oh, this is kind of dope. We could do more of this. So I ended up producing a video countdown where artists submitted their music videos. I had my host, shout out to Dear Miss Stevie and the Christian Rocker. They hosted and we counted down like indie videos.
Okay. So there's that. And then there's books. How many books have you written?
I have written 4 books, but published 2.
Published 2, written 4. So you're writing countless songs, providing platforms for yourself and other artists, taking your own personal gigs, and somewhere along the journey. And it's so funny to me because I never, if somebody asked me, when did you meet Qamil or how did that happen? I really couldn't tell them.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
It probably was, I would guess Facebook, and you're connected to like poets that I knew or something.
Right.
Like mutual friends kind of thing.
So I remember the first time that I had you and a couple of your artists from Soul Dope.
We started a label briefly.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So you had a label, all of it.
It was like 9 of us. Yeah, that happened.
Leading up to what we're really going to get into talking about today. So I think it was 2015 when you guys actually came to my March Madness show that I had, and it was amazing. And you guys were amazing. Yeah. You had a boot on your foot and all of that. Well, you know, like hurt yourself some kind of way. And you guys came and it was amazing. And then I think we just had a connection from there, and I've been in your business artistically ever since.
Till this day.
To this day. And we've done all kinds of shows together, but the one thing that I remember, the 2 things that I remember the most was the show that you did that I wrote, the interpretive Billie Holiday monologues that I wrote, and then we mixed in the music with it, and it was phenomenal.
Let's
And
really
that,
talk about that because people missed that. It was like a blimp on the
yeah,
radar. What happened was Rondo hopped in my inbox and was like, God showed me a vision. And I'm like, here we go.
like you and Jesus, Lord have mercy.
Billie Holiday. And I'm like, Billie Holiday. I mean, I'm familiar. I know some of her songs, but I never pictured myself doing anything other than covering a song here and there. And certainly not like being an actress or like learning a script. And because that's what it is now. Now you're telling me I'm writing this script. You're going to learn the script. There's going to be songs. I'm like, is it Broadway? And I think around that time I had made a post like, I would have really liked to be on Broadway. Like that's something I could see myself doing. And then next thing I know, I'm reading the script and picking these songs to go into in between what you have written. And then I'm Billie Holiday.
And the funny thing about that is I had no intention of being involved in it. Like I was like, I saw God showed me you on stage. Da, 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 da. And as the conversation continued, I ended up writing it and booking the place.
Write it. It's gotta be you. You have to write it. If you
yeah.
He didn't just show you to show you. He showed you because you can write it. And you did.
Exactly. So,
amazing.
So that happened. And it was fantastic. And I was actually just talking to my dad about this. We were talking about that. And I didn't even remember that my dad was there at that show. But he came and he was talking about how amazing it was and stuff. And people from all walks of life showed up.
That
Asian people,
still
white
sticks out of my mind. The variety of ethnicities and backgrounds in the room. Like, it's an Asian dude. White ladies are talking to me. Like, what in the world?
It was fantastic. Somebody found out about it. The newspaper found out about it and was like, oh, we're putting this in the paper. So it was in the paper and it was just beautiful. And we were able to do it with a DJ, which was crazy because it was crazy. Shout out to Ty Lyles. He's one of my favorites. His timing, DJ is just absolutely impeccable. It's really like having a band there. He is amazing.
We worked it out for real. And I was pregnant, so I was sick and like newly pregnant.
So that's what I was that's what I was gonna get to. So we did that. And it was fantastic. And we were talking about all of the different things that we were getting ready to do. I think one of your connections wanted to bring it to Michigan and all of this. And then we had a baby Izzy.
I had a baby
Izzy. And that kind of we didn't get back to that yet.
Yes.
But it was so wonderful. And then we were also prepping to do a Phyllis Hyman show, and I think you had a death in the family. It was so many things.
Yeah. So then wild period.
Wild. But it was phenomenal. So we get to this moment where after all of the stuff, it's March of 2020, early March 6th, 2020. And you had gotten your band. This is what you always wanted. Your band, not you working with other bands, your band. You had finally gotten your people together. And the first stage, am I right about that? The first stage, guys, Grace, was a show that I curated for my church, because my church is like all that. They like, we want R&B showcase. We don't want gospel. Don't do it. So they let me do what I wanted to do.
I was like, you sure? Like, okay, but let's go through the song list, though. Let's not get carried away. But
so I was like, don't do blow or anything, but you can do what you want to do, you know. But so we got to that moment. We were at the Artsville Theater, a wonderful Black-owned theater here in Cincinnati. And it was breathtaking. The stage, the look, the sound, the other artists that were there. I got a chance to do what I do. Like, it was just so beautiful. And I remember you're like, this is it. We're on our way. Like, it's up from here. And I think people were wanting to book you. It was amazing.
I got booked at the, oh my gosh. I was going to do Aretha Franklin at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's right. Because the movie was coming out.
I got booked to sing Aretha songs at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Just did the show. I got my band. Like Soul Dope Sunday was still going. So, and that was in a place where I didn't have to be the one there. I got a host in place. Like it was kind of self-operating. I was like, okay, got us a good vibe going on here.
So that was March 6th, 2020. And I think a week later,
yep,
started shutting it down. Like this thing called COVID, and we were all confused, like, what, you know, and then, okay, we're going to be shut down for about 2 weeks. And that turned into like, to this day, people still out here getting COVID.
I had a show booked called Fed, kind of like a play off of Feed Yourself. Come to my show, we're going to feed you. And Fed was going to be, I'd booked an artist, a singer, a poet, and
wait a minute, let me stop you. Fed was still, it was your creation, like it wasn't.
No, that was mine. We had already done some of them in the past, so I was getting ready to bring it back, but bigger. So I'm like, I'm gonna book an artist from Dayton, I'm gonna book an artist from Columbus, you know, a singer from here, poet from here, to kind of like start merging more. I was more region minded, getting to be more region. Well, I always was, but really like, okay, now here's a way I can actually start pulling these different people together, Cleveland and like all of these together. Had shows planned out, like had artists booked up through the whole series.
Yeah.
Had to cancel all of it.
All of it.
Yep.
So it's 2020. Everybody's in the house. People are not only getting sick, they're dying.
Yeah.
People that aren't dying are super sick. Like, I feel like I'm dying type sick.
We don't know what is what. What a crazy.
Yeah. I can't taste nothing. I can't smell nothing. People are going through all of that. We're losing people. All the venues are closed. Broadway shut down. Like everything as we knew it was like, no, like everything was gone. We didn't know how long it was going to happen. They said 2 weeks and then it turned into 2 years. And so it was just all of these things. Nothing was open. We couldn't go anywhere. When we try to go back into public, people got sick, you know, so it was just all of this chaos going on. And in the meanwhile, artists are still artists. So we're at home.
We're online.
We're online, right? Doing online shows, which is so amazing. It's like when you are a creative, you're going to find a way.
I mean, whole concerts, like, all right, come to my room.
Living room. So it was
nothing else. Just log in.
It was an incredible time of making it do what it do, but at the same time that there was this hunger for, we need to be back in front of the audience, and the audience needs to be back in front of us.
It was like a gauntlet for real. Like, all right, let's see what you really made of. Like, if you can get stuff and still like even care about doing any of this, and you can really, you can survive anything. Like, you're meant to be here. If you came out of this and you still care about being an artist or like doing anything, then don't ever question yourself.
Exactly.
So it was crazy.
It was crazy. Pandemic happened, but I think that a lot of artists came out. It either did one of two things. It either made you as an artist and a creative, or it just broke you as an artist and creative, because it was such a difficult time emotionally for everybody. So you either were able to capitalize off of it and pour that into your art, or you weren't.
Yeah, so I was deeply in grief. I lost my grandmother. I mean, in the between summer 2020 and the beginning of 2022, I lost both maternal grandparents, a cousin in a car accident, an uncle. You know, like I had people close to me who were losing people. It was just so heavy, and found out I was pregnant at 40.
Oof.
That was not on the list. Of not even remotely what I was planning to do or getting ready to do, because I was like, okay, it's pandemic. We can be in here forever. I can, you know, start doing the stuff that I didn't have time to do, like clearing out my emails and really organizing my admin type of stuff. Not have a baby.
But it was so funny because all the creatives just continue to create like online, if you're
Yeah,
really, really serious about connect. You have this moment where it's either sink or swim. And people really had to do whatever they had to do. So if you sat in 2020 and 2021 and just survived it,
that's fine.
yes, yes. So it's no shade, but
Here,
you here, that's what we after.
here.
We can worry about the rest of that later.
Mm-hmm.
But some people were able to pour all of the emotion and the uncertainty and this, that, and the dreams of what will be on the other side of it into music. And so you had an opportunity to do that a little bit. There was another great opportunity because we've been talking about kind of the ride of the career, the ups and downs, the successes, and all that. So you got a chance to record in Baltimore.
Yes.
Right.
Unexpected. It was like supposed to be, I was booked to do like this festival that was supposed to happen. So I submitted my song All Night, which was like in its infancy. I'm like, this is not even done, but it was like a time, like send them something so they can hear. They're looking for artists. So I sent it. The people in the room heard the song. Who is this girl? Basically, I'm getting hush phone calls like, girl, they talking about your song. Can you be on a plane in a week? And I'm like, I don't even know these people. What do you mean? Just hop on the plane, some strangers. And then my friend who was like facilitating all this, she wasn't even gonna be there. So I'm like, so you telling me you want me to get on a plane, go to this hotel, these people gonna come pick me up and take me somewhere to record this song because they love this song. And I was like, whatever. All right, send my mom the address, make sure everybody know where I am, just in case any weird stuff. Thank God everybody was like wonderful. But that's exactly what happened. I hopped on the flight, went to Baltimore, just took a chance. Got there, settled, ate some food, got up the next morning. So a car pulls up, picked me up. I'm in the woods, somebody's studio. And then I'm doing like a disco kind of joint that I had already written. And that was really supposed to be, I was just supposed to do that song. Well, I thought that was what I was supposed to do. But then I let them hear other things. Right. And so we ended up recording All Night and Everything, which is what's getting ready to come out in February, which is really the anchor for this next phase of my artistry. Like All Night was fun. I put that out. It was a great summer. We had a good time. But Everything, that's like, okay, new phase, new growth, new era.
So I heard Everything today. I was one of the lucky ones to be able to hear it before it actually comes out, which is going to be on February 7th. Right. Okay. So I heard it and I've been there for the Wallflower and the demo tape, which is one of my favorites, and all of that. So in that song, I heard the growth. I heard the growth and the maturity, production wise, vocally. And there was this feeling to the song that was just like, I think I kind of know what's going on in her life and it ain't this. So where did the inspiration for that song come from?
Everything, I just really wanted to tell a story about when people be finding love and then they be like, this is it, and then something happens and it ain't.
Which happens all the time.
Yeah, so I'm not going to give away the storyline of the song, but I also am a storyteller. I'm a writer first. I've always been a writer first. So I wrote the first verse, which is, I found the one where everything was fantastic, but then it wasn't. But then I don't tell you why it wasn't. You got to get to the second verse, and then it's like, oh,
wait, like it was a movie. It was the song is really a movie.
Yes, it really is. And it's very angsty and big vocals and harmonies, and like it builds. And that was what I'd written it. It was produced by the homie down there in Cincinnati. David did that.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
He has done Huggy Bear. This is official producer name. That's not what we call him, but Huggy Bear. Prescott Johnson produced most of this new project that I have coming on. He's like my Rodney Jerkins right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had recorded that. I had already did like a demo version before I ended up going to Baltimore and they heard it. And then when I got into the studio there, I got there. When I came back, I had a sinus infection. It was like when the pollen was snowing that summer. I was super like congested and everything. And I can't believe that it sounds like it sounds the way that
No, I'm like, when you hear this song and you
I
remember that
don't
she said
believe
that she was sick, you are not gonna know. So it doesn't sound like you were sick at all.
I was
And
struggling in there, and they were vocal like pull. No, give me more on this bridge part. No, do something else on that ad lib. And then I'm like, it sounds like I'm screaming, and they're like, good, come out of there.
okay,
And I'm like, oh, okay, that works.
yeah.
So
But
crazy.
so apparently what came across, that reminds me of like, and what's love got to do with it when her mom's like, you got out there screaming like a man. But what came out of it
Yes, that exactly that.
was magic, you know. And so obviously it was some people up there that knew what they were doing. And that's one of the things about working with other people who know what they're doing. Because even when you do, it's like when you work out at home,
Mm-hmm.
even though you're sweating, you're not going to work out as hard as you would in the gym with a trainer who knows more about it than you do, telling you what to do. And no, you've got more in you than
Dig
that. You know
deeper.
what I
It
mean?
was very much like you don't even know, your voice can do things, but we're gonna show you some other stuff that you didn't like help you tap into
Didn't
these
know.
other things and challenge you in here. And that ultimately, in addition to that, helped me as an artist because now I'm approaching recording a little differently, taking some of that. But when
Yeah.
I do am in my label mode, when that happens, when it's time to get back in the studio, bring in artists, work with artists, I'm gonna be producing them with a little bit more
Mhm.
of that because it's
Yeah.
necessary, And
Yeah.
I mean, the song will speak for itself. Y'all hear it. Y'all hear it.
And so I remember that time. I remember the pictures from that and the kind of the stories we would message each other back and forth,
Yeah, I
everything
had so much fun. It was a blast.
going well, having fun. And this was again the beginning of this. This is
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then you get sick.
Yeah, I went to rehearsal. We got some Mexican food afterwards. The next morning, I'm like, hmm, feeling a little weird. And it just felt like
Mhm.
like the beginning of a flu kind of thing. Just kind of tired. And at that point, I didn't have any like breathing things. It just felt like I got hit by a truck and I need to take some rest. But then
Mhm.
the next day, I couldn't taste anything. And I was like, oh, and then the chill started, and then I started having like trouble breathing and everything. So I remember I was driving around Baltimore trying to find an urgent care. A couple of
Mhm.
them wouldn't take my insurance because
Because you're from out of state.
I'm
Yeah.
out of state. So I'm like, I knew that I had it. I just wanted the confirmation, but I couldn't get any care, which is problematic. It shouldn't matter
Shouldn't matter.
in during
Yeah.
that what was going on in the whole world. Well, but I knew so in community, back to community, I get on Facebook, like I'm here by myself in a hotel room in Baltimore,
Mhm.
quarantine. My kids are in Ohio. Like this is crazy. And a friend of mine was working at the library and they had free tests and she shipped me tests to Baltimore.
Mhm.
And I tested it in my room and it was positive. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. So thugged it out for a few more days, then drove to Ohio by myself, sick as I don't know what.
Yeah.
Got home, started to feel better after a few days, then not so much.
Mhm.
Uh, Planning Soul Dope's 10th anniversary party like a psychopath. Still gonna have this party. I'm gonna be fine. Um, Planning the party. We get to the party. I'm like almost 2 hours late for my own anniversary party because I'm that sick. I couldn't even like
Because you
get.
shouldn't have went in the first
I'm
place.
leaning
But
on the
anyway.
counter trying to like prepare food, like this stuff. Go to the.
Uh,
I'm there 10 minutes. Breathing mask on, crying. I can't. I'm like. Go to the hospital the next day. They're like, girl, you got double pneumonia. Not one lung, both of your lungs.
mhm.
So completely. you know, like specialists and going back and forth to the ER to get breathing treatments and all that stuff. Get over that. Survive.
Yeah.
Giving pregnant.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's pretty much so there's no art at this point. There's like nothing I was working on in Baltimore is going to happen. We're chilling.
So you come back from your anniversary party or come back from Baltimore,
Sick,
sick with COVID, get over COVID, but
pneumonia,
are left with double pneumonia.
heal,
Have a baby.
oh, I got asthma from that. I never had asthma before in my life. I have asthma now, which as a singer, problematic, but we'll see
Very.
what happens. Yeah. So they're
As
like,
is double pneumonia.
yeah. Yeah.
So you have all of that going on. And I remember even before COVID happened, I think you were supposed to open for like Sunshine Anderson
Oh
or
yeah, that happened.
somebody.
So after I had Izzy, my now 5-year-old, I started having like stomach issues that no one could figure out what the heck was going on. Plot twist, it was all tied to the postpartum depression. My body's reaction to that stress was stomach,
Okay.
stomach. So I'm getting all these tests. No one knows what they can't figure out. They're testing my thyroid, tubes, cameras. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I go to therapy. I have not had any of those issues since, but that was spent like 2 years in and out of the hospital because I couldn't eat food, losing weight crazy. Like it was the most painful, horrible experience of my life. Yeah. Like it just takes there.
So you persevered through all of that though.
Yes.
All of COVID. Had another baby.
Had another baby, pregnant with asthma now. So and at 40, the stress of this could be wrong, this could be wrong, this could be wrong. More doctor's appointment. Well, we think we should. I was getting steroid shots in my butt every week, my entire pregnancy, because so that I wouldn't have a loss. Keep the baby in, gotta keep the baby in. So that was it, going through that while that pregnancy after I've just losing my grandfather. So now both of my maternal grandparents are gone. These people are center of my like universe. My parents were teenagers when I was born. So these are like extra parents, really. They are like king and queen. They come to town. All the grandkids are like, so they're gone. They're just gone.
Yeah.
And I'm pregnant. And then the bathroom caught on fire. And like getting shots in my butt. And I'm like, whatever, this is my 2022.
Yeah.
So not so much art at this point. I was missing it. I did the soul cases that we talked about, the R&B soul case music series. Did 4 shows in spring of 2022, pregnant. I only hosted because I couldn't sing because I couldn't breathe.
Right.
I hosted. It was amazing, beautiful. Stopped doing those in May, and I had Yael at the end of June. Yeah.
So, and then was there postpartum issues related to this pregnancy? Okay. And so how did you?
I got a doula. Shout out to Black doulas. Shout out to Root, which is an organization here. That was just on it. Again, community, the person who runs it, we're Facebook friends, and she saw me posting about like, I'm not so good, and was like, I'm like worried about these things during my pregnancy. And she just messaged me. And then next thing I know, I had somebody assigned to me who I still talk to often, who checks on me even now in my postpartum care. But I knew that I was prone to postpartum depression. So I wanted to be ahead of it. Like with Izzy, I didn't do medication or any of that, and waited almost 2 years to get any kind of help. But this one, it was like day one. As soon as I got home from the hospital, I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is. This is this is a lot, and even more because now it's 3 kids who require 3 different mothers because they're 3 different ages. And so I gotta be 3 moms. Okay. And, all of my other roles. And oh no, this is not going to work. Like, this is not feel good at all. So I, got some medication to help just in those early days.
Okay.
And check in with my doula and get back to some kind of art because that helps me.
Yeah. But you made it. And so now you have an active toddler, a
Yeah.
teenage girl,
Mhm.
and a tiny baby, a love that because we got to invest in that relationship too.
Yes.
So, and I'm sure
Family,
she's
friends.
supportive, family, friends. And then there's this art that's kind of like, hey, speaking of active toddlers, hi.
Sorry, this is okay. Bye. Close the door.
He's
Close
like,
the door.
he's like, you gave me a time limit. It's
Yes.
past that.
Okay. Close the door. Thank you. I'm almost done. I will leave that in because that's real.
Yes, yes. So you've got all the relationships, but then there's this art burning on the inside of you as
There's some
well.
heart burning, some friendships change because when you have major life events, you get married, divorce, have a baby, etc., you will start to see things that you didn't notice before. So
Right.
emotionally dealing with that too, on top of all the things. Yeah. So art, but I'm missing my art. Something's missing. I know I'm feel crazy and I'm overwhelmed and I'm like trying to find me is where you get lost in being all this stuff to all these people, but I still have to find Qamil. She's in there somewhere. So that is where we are 6 months post baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get it. And I think all of the things, and I really want to stress this to those who are listening to this, is that when there is something that you've been called to do, something that you dream of doing, there are going to be so many bumps and bruises and excitements and triumphs along the way, but it's really all about taking care of yourself long enough to first of all make sure you're okay, but then also to allow the love and the calling to help you persevere through the hard times, because those are going to come.
Yeah.
But then there's so much beauty on the other side of that, because now, after the Soul Dope Sundays and the double Dutch and brunch and this and that and the sickness and this and that, and opening for all kinds of famous people, Dwelle and Eric Roberson or whatever, just all the things. Because I'm sure when those flashes happen, it's like, I'm opening for Eric Roberson. This is it. And then you come home and you fry chicken and you still got to change diapers, and it's just, and so it's like you have these things happening and some of it looks really promising and then it's up and down and all that. But something inside of you continue to persevere through all of that stuff. And so we get to this point now where you have your new music coming out and you have so much more to offer, I feel.
Yeah.
In listening to, I love all the other stuff because that was part of the journey too.
Yeah.
But now it's like this fresh, wise, grown woman talking to you about something.
I'm a grown up. I was grown when I started, but man, life really just was like, all right, girl, this is a whole new ball game of where you are, what I'm thinking, how I feel, how I process, what I react to, what I don't react to. It just all feels so new. Like I just feel really seasoned now.
Yeah. That's a good word.
Yeah.
So so we've talked about the journey and all the things that you've done, and now you've taken it all the way back full circle. And even though you have this wonderful love for the community, you're starting to focus on you.
Yeah, it's really, I'm still going to do things. Soul Dope Show, the podcast, that's a way for me. I interview people like really in-depth one-on-one, introduce people to people. And it's not just music. There's an actor, there's a Broadway star. That comes out February 7th to my 3rd season. And there will still be shows, not as many as me, just because I want to go on the road and I want to book go to different places and network and meet people. So I can't do both. Learning to pace myself.
Okay. Yeah. So
Learning
you
to
got some
balance
of
my
that
time.
coming up.
Yeah.
You got that. You got some of that coming up with the shows out of state that you're going to be booked, that you have booked, and so all that's coming up.
Yeah.
But if we had to take it all the way back to basics and just talk about the music for a second before we wrapped up, and it's been an amazing conversation, how would you describe Qamil's sound? What can people expect that haven't heard?
Who haven't heard me, you're gonna get so I came up in the school like the Faith Evans, Vesta, Regina Bell, like that kind of soul. I'm their student, but still very bad boy, very Motown. You just never know. We said a chameleon. It might be some standard. You just never. I can do whatever. So I don't even know exactly, but if soul, it always just comes back to that passion, that storytelling, that what you really think of when you think of R&B as it was, but very modern, because I am very in the now.
You're one of those people, like you said, you can do it all. You could be standing in a ball gown singing from the American Songbook, or you could be singing, blow. It's just you can do all the stuff.
I can do whatever. Yeah. So
and what's really beautiful about that is because some people are out there and they're doing all of the stuff, and you can tell that they're really reaching, like they're not being authentic. They're just trying to find what works.
Yeah, I don't care about
that.
But
you literally have a space, I think, in every genre where you can do some blues, you could do jazzy, you could do soul, you could do hip hop, it's just a gift.
And I was in a hip hop R&B band at some point, like briefly, but that happened, and we were dope, and we won things and went on tour and all kinds of stuff. So I just kind of do whatever feels good. If it excites me and someone's like, I got this song I want you on, and it might be some straight hip hop like Wu-Tang type stuff, or it might be something super soulful and heartbreaking and whatever. If I feel it, then that is what I do.
I mean, and let's be clear, when it comes to hip hop, soul really has been like that anchor in a lot of ways for hip hop. Not saying hip hop is its own thing, and yes, it did a lot of things to revitalize.
It is it's everything, every kind of music, history of music speaking wise, came from gospel, and then to jazz and R&B and soul, and then everything else is birthed out of that.
Yes. But hip hop has always, to me, when you think about the singers that have accompanied our hip hop music, the Mary J's, the Jewels from Death Row. I mean, that girl, because you talk about soul, like all of that. It's just it's always been there. Soul has always been there, and so I would agree that you are just all things soul, but like an all around, just capable.
Whatever I do, it's going to be soulful. If you heard me, it's still going to be. You're going to soulful, and I mean not like a style of music wise, but I mean it with that passion and that emotion. And I'm not just singing a song. Like I'm feeling what I wouldn't pick the song. I don't just pick songs. Like they mean something when I'm on the stage, whatever I'm singing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've talked about this really wonderful career, and I'm so excited to be able to join you to have this conversation. So before we get into a couple of things that I like to do that are just fun whenever I like to interview people, we'll get into that in a minute. But there are ways that people can support you and what you're doing. So you have a Patreon.
Yes. Patreon is like a membership based kind of thing that is like super fan. You really want to be here to see what I'm doing behind the scenes. You want to join the Q&As and hear the songs before everybody else hears them, watch the episodes of the podcast before, see just stuff that everybody else isn't seeing. That's what Patreon is for. So patreon.com/ /Qamil.
Okay.
Qamil's room.
And so
Come on in the
membership. The membership tiers are very affordable, right?
Yeah, they start at like $5. I think I have a $5 one and a $10 one. There may be a $20 one. I don't even remember, but they all come with great stuff, and a portion of your membership goes towards this grant I created. So you're helping me help other artists, in addition to getting all these perks along the way. So
yeah, so that's awesome. And then people can follow you on social media at
Qamil Soul Dope and all the things, TikTok, Twitter, not Twitter. I don't do Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.
All right. So it has been a wonderful journey, full of ups and downs, but I'm sure rewarding no less, because you're still here and you're still going forward. And so I'm very proud of you and all the things that you have accomplished, and looking forward to all the amazing things that you will be doing in the future. So your podcast comes out.
Yes.
Soul Dope Show, February 7th, along with your new single, Everything, which is everything. So we are just so excited, and I know everybody who hears it is going to feel the way that I do. It's just an amazing song. So much growth, so much soul, all of that.
Yeah.
So, but I like to do a couple of fun things before we get out of here.
Okay.
And I always like to, whenever you're on a platform and there are other people that are listening to you, you just never know who's going to hear the things that you say. And so I think it's important for us as dreamers to put out there the things that we would like to see happen.
Out loud.
So if, yes, out loud, because you just never know who's going to hear it and how far it's going to reach. So we just always put it into the atmosphere. So if you had to give your top 5 dream collaborations, who would they be? Like people you want to work with in the studio right now, do songs with, whatever. Who would you choose?
Issa Rae. I know she ain't no singer, but she is a Black female producer, creator, genius.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of stuff with R&B. She incorporates a lot of R&B into her film and her production. So I would love to work with Issa Rae in some capacity on something. Something.
Yeah.
Musically, lock me in the studio with D'Angelo, Raphael Sadiq.
Yeah.
BJ the Chicago Kid for the new school, Obsessed. If you know, you know, Obsessed. I just think we would sound so freaking dope together. And
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And Babyface, my opinion, GOAT, producer, writer, putter together of people. I mean, brilliant. And he just did. Huh? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna say, when you just say Babyface, you don't have to say nothing else. Like everybody understands why you picked him. Yeah.
Babyface knows what he be doing with some with a me. I just think he would really know what to do. But yeah, Babyface would be my 5th on my list. Yeah, it's hard for me to make short lists, but because I'm like, okay, but also like, but I'm right there. Okay.
Yeah, there's always those alsos on there. You know, the top 5. Okay, so we're putting it out there. Issa Rae, D'Angelo for sure.
For sure.
Raphael Sadiq, Babyface, and BJ the Chicago Kid. How could I forget that one? Because that's been a long time dream of yours.
We're gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
I believe that. I believe that so much. Okay, so we've got that. Those are your dream collaborations. So as I end each interview, I like to get people's first thoughts about random artists. Not that they're random artists, but I'm just going to pick them randomly. I don't even know what I'm going to say. Okay. So when I say the name of these artists, and I'll give you a few, give me your first thoughts about them.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this one only because I started to tell you that I think that you all would sound amazing together. Very happy. This kid, I'm sure he's grown. He's a grown man, but when you're in your 40s, everybody kid. So Jack Ross, are you familiar?
I just got hip to him. Jesse played on a playlist just randomly on Spotify, and I was like, "Who is this dude?" And I went to like find because his voice. I was
Because
like,
he did the Tamia
mhm, yes,
remake. Oh my gosh. So what are your first thoughts
the
when you think of him?
tone of his voice is what got me. I'm big on tone. I mean, I love when people do like the runs and things like that's cool, but a tone is what really is mesmerizing to me, and that's what got me. His tone. I was like, "Who is this?" And I don't have too many "Who is this?" moments now. Um, yes, absolutely. I look forward to hearing more original stuff from him because I definitely went looking like to find what I could find. And I found what I did
He
find
has,
got saved.
okay. He has an original song that I love that I'll make sure I message it to you. And I'm gonna try to make this list be not the super like hot right now artists, but maybe like some blasts from the past, or maybe some these are people you need to know kind of people.
Okay.
So when I say the name Lisa Fisher, what are your first thoughts?
Big, iconic, insane vocals. Like,
Yes.
yeah. I've been watching videos of her live performances. Someone just posted a show she did in Atlanta maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I just watched it over and over again. She's like otherworldly. Her stage presence, like someone who is fully
Mhm.
aware of who they are and what they do, and a very like, listen, I am the vessel kind of way, like
Yeah.
superior.
I saw her. I saw her perform with the symphony orchestra in this room with these majestic ceilings and chandeliers, and she's up there, and
No,
I'm just like,
had to be.
this right here. So,
Yeah,
okay, this next one, I always call his name, Eric Roberson.
he was so kind when I opened for him. It, kind, which is important because people don't be kind. Like people are not always. That is not a word that just always comes to mind when I'm like in a room with a celebrity kind of person.
Mhm.
He stopped his show to compliment me on my performance. Like he didn't have to do that. It caught me so off guard that I didn't even realize he was talking about me. My friends are like, "Fool, he's talking about you," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Like, so that was very validating, like affirming, like, okay, I was really like doing my thing out here. But aside from that, just as an independent artist and what he has created for himself and how he has maneuvered this everything that he does as the boss of what he does, and he releases what he wants to release, and he stays booked and busy all the time.
Yep.
It's really admirable, and it also lets me know that I don't have to be on a major label, which was something that I never wanted to do. I always wanted to do my own thing and have my own label or just drop my own music my way. So seeing someone like Roberson is like, yeah, this it's more than doable. It's been done. You can do it. Just keep going.
Yeah, he is this fire. Anyways, let's see. We'll do the auntie, Anita Baker.
My Whenever I hear Anita Baker's name, I picture myself in the backseat of my mom's car and my little brother, one of my brothers, the older of the two. It was like Rapture was on the radio, and I remember him being little and like singing this song like he knew what was going on. You know about the Rapture of love.
Right.
I remember it being nighttime, like that. Those moments are tied to a specific memory, and I just remember looking over him like, but Anita, as I sang Angel at a friend of mine's wedding a couple of years ago. Covered her a few times. And the thing about her music is we're so used to singing it like along with the radio. But when you really go to cover an Anita Baker song, then you really realize the skill that is, what she really was doing vocally, like the intricate moments in her songs the way that she delivered them, the pull, the like the sway of her music. That is what I think about when I hear her. But I definitely have a newfound respect and have recently doing it. Well, not recently, pre-COVID, I guess, doing an Anita Baker cover show and was learning songs, like actually got to sing them and not sing along with the radio way. And I'm like, this woman is incredible.
What are your first thoughts? I'll give you a couple more. What are your first thoughts of what Anderson .Paak is doing? Not just with the lyricism, the rap portion of it, but the vocals. Because to me, there's like something really endearing about his sound.
Yes.
Kind of like the way I feel when I hear Eric Clapton. He ain't gonna sing the paint off the wall or anything,
No.
But it works.
Like, yeah. Yeah. At first, I was like, I don't get it. Like, what? I don't. Okay. Then I started listening to him featuring on stuff with artists that I liked. Like he had a feature on Jasmine Sullivan's Her Hotels project. It's like my favorite song on the project. That wasn't the only one. I can't think of like specific names, but when he's sprinkling himself on these R&B things, and it's dope. I love what he's doing when he collaborates with other singers. And then of course Subsonic happened, and it's like, yes,
man.
Yes, so much yes. Everything about it.
Bruno just can do no wrong to me. Like Bruno.
He love me some Bruno. That I would love to work with Anderson too, because I think his mind, the way that he's approaching music, in R&B, he know that he ain't no Luther Vandross, like but he still got something special, and that's dope. That's cool to me. I love that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, and then I'll end it here, just because I think that he needs to get as many flowers as we can give him as kind of being like one of the kings of our generation, Usher.
Usher is the king of R&B. I don't care what anybody says. Tell me why he isn't. How is he not?
Period.
I have got to get to Vegas to see his show before he decides he don't want to do that anymore. Right. Usher's Tiny Desk was monumental. It was
what we needed.
The way he smiled and just like he's having such a good time, and it wasn't like this dude is performing. He just got on all black, and he's just like, it's so fun. Like, yes, that's my song. And that's the only Tiny Desk. I mean, there's a couple that I watched multiple times, but that one, none more than I have watched that for the nostalgia, and because it's just a joy to watch him after all these years still be that giddy about being up there and doing that. Like, Usher's I don't know what y'all people be talking about.
Yeah, and the voice was so clear. Like, it was just beautiful. We had came off of a crazy run of something happening R&B wise. I can't remember, and he just like purified it. It was like, okay,
it was just refreshing. But I mean, I am around Usher's age, so for me, it was Usher, Destiny's Child. Like, when I was like, I want to be a singer. I think I want to be a singer. That's what I was listening to. Faith, Carl, Usher. Usher has always been there. And the fact that he's still here and he's still relevant when other people have come and gone. Give that man his credit. Stop playing with him.
Stop playing with him. Yeah. It was good. And those other names of obviously Carl Thomas and Faith Evans that you named. I mean, just.
I love Tank. Tank's like.
I know you do.
If I was a male R&B singer, I would have been Tank.
Yeah.
For sure. Certainly. Yeah. But yeah.
So like whenever they do those like little artist surveys or whatever, like an artist you dislike, an artist you love, an artist you think is underrated, and an artist you secretly love, I always put Tank as my artist that I secretly like, because sometimes his lyrics are a little much for me.
I know,
but for real though, like his voice and just everything is just great. It's amazing.
It's that, and I do. really cares about the entire culture of R&B. He really
Yes,
cares,
he does.
probably more so than most people. So I can relate to that, like the way that I'm passionate about R&B,
Yes.
talking about R&B artists and all of this stuff. Even when he don't have to be. He could just do his thing, but he's like got this R&B podcast and
I
constantly
love it.
putting
Yeah.
posting other people's videos and like all of this stuff. So in addition to me just being a fan of the music, I'm a fan of how this man moves within the
Yeah.
R&B. So I feel like he's
Yeah,
like
there's like an episode of R&B Money that is in my little queue to watch because he interviewed the Whisper. So I can't wait to
yep,
hear.
I haven't got to it yet, but it's say
Yeah,
I'm just like soaking all of them up because of course I would be obsessed, like
yeah,
obsessed until I'm on the podcast. Because yeah,
yeah,
goals.
yes. Well, it has been amazing to talk to you about all of the things, all the life things that are happening with you, the spectacular run of your career that is really just getting started. And it's just been a blast. And so I just pray nothing but the best for all of the things that you have coming up. And I just believe that there are things waiting for you in 2023 that haven't even hit your brain yet. It's just stuff God has out there for you. And I believe that you will rise to every occasion that is set before you because you are an amazing talent. And not only that, like you said about Tank, you really care about the music and about the people. And that is, I believe, part of the reason why you continue to push forward. And I am so glad that you have. So this has been Rhonda Trufiyah with the Soul Dope Takeover. Come on, 2023, get ready, baby, because she coming. And we are so excited to see what she's going to do. Talk
Bye.
to you all later. It's been amazing.